A calm street in Texas suddenly became the scene of a showdown when two fake officers in tactical vests tried to take a homeowner into custody. But the man they chose wasn't just any neighbor. He was an FBI agent, the last person they should have targeted. On a Saturday morning in Plano, Texas, the kind of day when families cut their grass and kids pedal bikes around cul-de-sacs, Reginald Carter stepped out of his two-story brick house thinking only about putting the trash out. He hadn't walked more than a few steps when he noticed three figures standing at the edge of his driveway. Two men wore dark tactical vests with "Community Enforcement" stitched across the front, and between them stood Linda Whitfield, the head of the Homeowners Association. None of them smiled. Reginald slowed his pace, gripping the trash bag, his eyes narrowing as he looked them over. To a passerby, they might have looked legitimate, but Carter immediately saw flaws. Their vests didn't match. One hung too loose, the other strapped unevenly. Their boots were worn, as if second-hand, and their posture was forced, too rehearsed. His instincts flared. "Mr. Carter," Linda said sharply, as though she'd been preparing for this moment. "We need to talk." Setting the trash bag down, Reginald calmly placed his hands on his hips. "About what?" One of the men stepped closer. He was tall, pale, with a shaved head and mirrored shades hiding his eyes. "Community enforcement," he said bluntly. "You're breaking neighborhood rules. We're here to detain you until the police show up." The words hit heavy. "Detain me?" Reginald echoed, his tone low, almost amused. Linda folded her arms tightly. "You've ignored repeated warnings, Anne. Do you want me to continue rewriting the next paragraph in the same style? This has gone far enough. We can't allow someone to defy our community rules. These men are here to make sure you cooperate." Reginald lifted an eyebrow, glancing from Linda to the two supposed enforcers. "And what are the official charges?" The second man, shorter with a thick build and a scruffy beard, pulled a folded sheet from his vest. "Property violations. Failure to follow HOA directives. Unauthorized changes to your driveway. Disturbances from gatherings." The list continues. Reginald nearly laughed. "So you think that gives you the right to step onto my property and, what was it? Detain me?" The taller man's jaw clenched. "That's right. You can come willingly, or we'll make it harder for you." For a moment, silence hung heavy. The whole block seemed frozen, as if the world itself was listening. From down the street, Reginald noticed a curtain move. Then another. Neighbors were watching, phones in hand. He took a measured step forward, his voice calm but edged with warning. "Let me make something clear. There is no such thing as community enforcement. You're not the police. You have no authority here. You're trespassing." Color rose in Linda's cheeks. "Don't talk to me about authority, Reginald. You think you're above the rules just because of who you are. We've had complaints, serious ones, and I will not let this neighborhood fall apart." The bearded man shifted uneasily, but the tall one stayed stiff, his hand hovering close to his belt as if he wanted Carter to think he was armed. Reginald tilted his head, eyes sharp. He'd seen men like this before, pretenders who believed a vest and a hard stare made them powerful. But he also knew what they didn't. He wasn't just another resident. He was a federal agent who had spent years dismantling criminal groups and questioning men far more dangerous than these frauds. Yet instead of exposing anything, he only smiled. "You picked the wrong driveway today." Linda stepped closer, her tone rising. "Don't test me, Reginald. These men can hold you until the police arrive, and when they do, you'll be the one answering for this." That was the moment Reginald finally let the trash bag fall to the ground. It tore slightly, a soda can rolling out and clinking against the pavement, the metallic echo carrying down the street. It wasn't a sign of giving up. It was the stance of a man bracing himself, ready for a clash that wasn't going to end the way Linda expected. Curtains shifted as more neighbors leaned in for a better view. A teenager across the road lifted his phone, recording. What began as a dispute between a homeowner and an HOA president was about to turn into a public showdown. And as strained as the standoff already looked, the true test of control was just starting. The silence hanging between them didn't last. The taller man advanced, his boots grinding against the driveway as if claiming it as his own. His mirrored glasses reflected the calm on Reginald's face, though inside the impostor was eager to prove himself. "Sir, don't make this harder," he said firmly. "You're refusing to comply. That gives us the right to escalate." Reginald's mouth curved into the hint of a smirk. "Escalate? You're on my property with no badge, no lawful power, and no idea how deep in trouble you're already in. You've got 30 seconds to walk away before you regret this little act." Linda snapped her head toward him, her tone sharp with annoyance. "You think threats are going to fix this? You've ignored notices, warnings, and fines. The HOA exists to keep this neighborhood orderly and respectable. People like you," she cut herself off, lips pressing tight, as if she'd nearly revealed more than she intended. Reginald caught it immediately, his eyes narrowing. "People like me, is that what you were about to say? Careful how you end that sentence, Linda." The bearded man stepped in quickly, trying to regain control. "Look, this doesn't have to turn ugly. Just come with us. We'll wait for the officers. Sort it out, and maybe they'll take it easy on you." "Officers?" Reginald said flatly. "You mean the real police, or the fake credentials you two probably ordered off the internet?" The tall man stiffened, while his partner cast an uneasy glance at Linda. She pressed forward, clinging to the facade. "These men are authorized by the HOA board to enforce compliance. We don't answer to you." Reginald gave a low chuckle, shaking his head. "Linda, listen to yourself. You dragged two men in discount store tactical vests onto my driveway. Do you honestly think that's how the law works?" By now, the crowd had grown. Curtains fluttered in nearly every home on the block, and more phones were aimed from windows. Someone even stepped onto their porch, recording openly. Reginald lowered his voice, meant for the imposters but loud enough for the neighbors to catch. "You want to know, you want to see what real authority looks like? It isn't two men pretending to be soldiers. It's training. It's law. It's accountability. And I promise you, the actual police will have a lot to say about this performance." The bearded man swallowed hard, his confidence slipping. But the tall one pushed forward, stepping closer until he stood just inches from Reginald. "I'm not bluffing. You're in violation, and if you resist, we'll restrain you. Don't test me." Reginald didn't move. Instead, he leaned forward slightly, his tone calm but edged with steel. "Son, I've faced cartel enforcers who were less reckless than you. Do yourself a favor and step back before this turns into something you can't walk away from." For the first time, a flicker of doubt crossed the man's face. His facade of toughness was cracking under the weight of Reginald's steady control. Linda, unwilling to concede, snapped, "Why should the rest of us follow the rules while you act like they don't apply? We have a system here, Reginald. We have order. And if you won't respect it, then maybe you don't deserve to be part of this neighborhood at all." Reginald's eyes locked onto hers. "Respect isn't earned but by commanding. Everyone here can see what's really going on. This isn't about rules or violations. It's about power. False power. And these men are being pushed by someone who doesn't know the law, doesn't respect the law, and thinks intimidation equals leadership." The bearded man lowered his eyes to the ground, guilt washing over him. He muttered, "I didn't agree to this." Eddie shot him a glare, then glanced at Linda, torn between pride and fear. Before he could act, Reginald stepped closer, closing the distance. His gaze locked on Eddie's, his tone sinking to that icy level only professionals carried. You lay a single finger on me, and I guarantee the real police won't even have to ask who you are. They'll already know, because I'll walk them through every mistake you've made in the past 10 minutes. You think you're scaring me, son? Men like you are my work. The words hit like a hammer. Eddie froze, his arm rigid, the cuffs dangling uselessly from his hand. The onlookers erupted, not in cheers, but in a low chorus of support, voices overlapping. He's right. Back off. You're finished. The neighborhood itself was taking sides, and it wasn't with Linda or her imposter enforcers. Reginald straightened, calm but firm, his presence unshaken. Here's the reality. This is the end of your little act. You don't have authority. You don't have power. And the longer you stand here pretending otherwise, the deeper you bury yourselves. Eddie's shoulders slumped, his hold on the cuffs slipping. The bearded man retreated another step, visibly breaking down. Linda, however, looked ready to erupt, her face bright red, her